What's going on, guys? Today was supposed to be a spring themed outfit video, which I'm not shooting today. Don't worry, it's coming in the near future. There's a couple reasons for that. For one, the main reason is I actually pulled my shoulder, like underneath my shoulder blade when I was on a treadmill. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I'm just know for sure that I don't want to put on 12 outfits, then put them on, like style them, then put them on for the video, and then put them on again to get B-roll. It's 36 times changing too much. I wanted to use this opportunity and say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and have a talking video, and I figured I might as well talk to you guys a little bit about my mental health and a little update on that, and the fact that I started to see a therapist / a life coach about a month ago now, and kind of share with you why I started seeing him in the first place and how things have been since. And I think, I don't know, I'm hoping that could be interesting to you guys and to just understand me a little bit more, but also to hopefully, open your own eyes towards some stuff that's going on with you. So overall, where does this start? I think for about a year, I've been kind of unsure about my overall direction in life, my sense, my purpose, my drive. Why am I doing this? And obviously a large part of it is you guys. A large part of why I wake up in the morning is because fashion gave something to me, namely self-confidence. And I want to give that to you guys and to be able to express yourself sartorially. So that's what it was to me. For those of you that watch the channel regularly, it's become pretty apparent that I've moved away from fashion, which is how I identified, like that fashion was like what I lived and breathed, and woke up with every morning, to more of a style focus, which is difficult enough in itself, because now I get people saying like, oh, what you're doing is starting to look repetitive, like switch it up more, do this, try that. And I think that's one of the first things that caused me to like really question myself, what's going on, how much I was taking in negative comments compared to all the support that you guys show, vastly different support for different type of videos, and me just focusing on the few naysayers and people that aren't necessarily coming for me, but definitely don't have my best intentions at heart either. There's just like a level of misunderstanding. For example, the video I just posted, the sustainable haul, I really am trying to make the best choices I can for myself and for you guys, and it's a big topic too. Just trying over the past year to make more sustainable choices as an individual is tough enough, because you try and you try and you try and it's never really enough, but I think we need to try in the first place. But then to do that in the public eye to a certain extent is very even more difficult, because of, how am I supposed to teach you guys much if I'm still on a journey myself? Or not teach you guys, but show you guys. So when there's comments coming in like, oh, yes, those are sustainable products, but they're still being flown, they're still being packaged. I think there's just this is not a sustainable video, by the way. Like, it's not about sustainability. I just want to try and use that because I think that's a large part of, me trying to re-identify who I am. Of course, there's still a lot to be done, but it's just not realistic to say we need to, we change everything from today to tomorrow. A large part of sustainability is economy, as some of you actually kind of helped me realize as a response to my previous sustainable videos. Like, a business has to make money, right? So in order to keep operating. So if everybody just switched over to sustainable goods, I mean, if everybody did it, then the consumer wouldn't have a choice. But at the end of the day, it's hard to do that. It's hard to go sustainable when there's still other alternatives out there, and people aren't necessarily as open to spending that much money on more or less the same thing aesthetically, but obviously it's a very different thing when you look at it in the big picture. I feel like I'm getting sidetracked a little bit, but then again, I'm not really sure what this video is about, other than once again letting you guys know what's going on in my head. I've done one of those before, but this seems a bit more personal. Like, I woke up feeling vulnerable physically just because of the injury, but I also feel vulnerable in the sense that it's hard to figure out how to give you guys what you want while staying true to myself, while also growing the channel. Like, it's obviously like I want to be growing the channel. I want to reach more people. I want to reach more people with a positive attitude, and it's not necessarily so much about style, but what's underlying in that style and that fashion, the sense of self-worth and self-expression. But I think I've just been struggling with a lot with what my purpose is on this planet, and it sounds very existential, and to be honest, it is at times. But I guess eventually, I ended up, I talked to a lot of my friends. I'm very grateful to have amazing friends in my life that will hear me out and will hear me lament to a certain extent and offer their opinions. But at the end of the day, I was ready to talk to a professional, in this case, a life coach, therapist, to help me through this a little bit, to regain my sense, my purpose, my sense of self or my purpose. And I feel like I'm starting to, for the first time, possibly ever, to really truly be myself. When I make these videos, obviously I keep in mind what you guys want to see, and I try and tackle some internet trolls or some people with doubts, if they're not actual trolls, just like in that direction. I try and tackle that head on and try and be very honest and transparent in my videos. But I'm hoping that you've seen over the past couple weeks the type of content that I myself am shining through, more like the stupid, silly guy that, makes lame jokes, but that's who I am, and I think that's who I want to be more also for you guys to see. And also I want to be shooting the content that I get excited about, like I could be shooting content that I know is going to drive the numbers more quickly, and while we try and keep that in, I want to do it in a way that's organic to me and that makes me happy. And over the past month, talking to Dan is his name, I just felt a growing sense of motivation, a growing sense of purpose, a growing sense of knowing who I am, and in a non-egotistical way, a very loving way, embracing who I am and not budging, not having other people tell me who I'm not, what I can't do, what I shouldn't do, what I should do. It's we only have one life, at least, in this mindfulness. I believe in reincarnation, whether or not you do. We have one life with this mind right here, with this awareness. So I think we need to take control of it as much as we can, and try and live a life based on love, not on fear. I think a lot of my decisions were based on the fear that, if I start doing this, then I'll lose subscribers, I'll lose potential campaign opportunities, I'll lose this, I'll lose friends if I'm being too honest about this and that. There's so much fear that went into my decision-making process that I just don't think belongs in there. I'd much rather go from a love-based perspective of like, this is what makes me happy, that is why I do what I do, and that's how I'm going to continue doing it. And I'm hoping that you guys are able to do the same thing. Now, I'm grateful and lucky to be one of those people that set out to do their hobby for a living or their passion for a living and actually was able to pull that off. So I'm very much grateful for how my life has worked out and how I've worked towards my goals. But at times this now feels to me like a job, like I have deadlines to meet, I have content to put out, you guys are expecting some stuff, and it's difficult to find that passion again and again. I've been doing something like this, like not YouTube, but I've been doing Instagram for the past 7 years now. It's a long time to keep reinventing yourself creatively and to keep finding new topics to talk about. So I guess all of this is just to say, for one, if you feel like you're struggling with something, if you're feeling depressed, there's actually a good book, sorry, before we get to that point, there's a good book called The Dip, forget the author, quick read, basically saying, in life, it's rarely, if it starts going down, it's rarely like rock bottom. Most of the time, it's just a dip. And while it goes down in the dip, it also goes up in the dip. And I feel like I'm currently on the way out and feeling, excited about what's to come, because for most of the times that you're struggling, you usually come out stronger on the other side because you question, rightfully, maybe in this case, what's been going on and how you can adjust it to live a happier life. So I think that's great. You know what I mean? It's tough while you go through it, but at the end of the day, I think it's somewhat necessary to really grow and push yourself and leave your comfort zone, and find a true way to happiness. But all of this to say is, if you guys are feeling stuck or overwhelmed or depressed, first and foremost, do not feel ashamed. Everybody's going through it, no matter how famous or with what ethnic background, what your gender is, your sexuality, your job, or your upbringing. We're all going through stuff in our own ways, and that's okay. Like, we're already going through the stuff. Don't put yourself through more stuff trying to figure out whether or not to talk about it. Open up. You'll likely notice that the more you open up, the more you'll actually get get back from other people, if you show your vulnerability, it actually allows others to connect with you more. And to some extent, I'm hoping that this is what's happening here right now as well. I want to connect with you guys more. I want you guys to feel like you truly know me, so I'm sharing this. But talk to someone. Don't be ashamed. Talk to someone. Seek help. Help sounds sometimes it has like negative connotation, like seek help. Like nothing's wrong with you. You know, what you're going through is normal. Everybody goes through it. But seek advice, seek support, seek someone that you can talk to verbalize some of those thoughts, because oftentimes you'll notice what you're saying, like you'll notice what you're thinking as you're saying it. It's been in there floating around, but you don't really know how to put a finger on it. And oftentimes conversation will help that process a lot. So I'm hoping that at least one of you guys this video spoke to and helped, because if at least one of you guys did relate or felt like this was a push in the right direction, then I'm happy with that. And I think I want to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have a new video coming out very soon with some gym wear that hopefully, you know, I can also show you the gym wear in action, and my back is healing a little bit. But I hope you enjoyed this rather intimate chat with yours truly. And know that I'm on a better path, and I'm hoping that you will be if you're struggling. And there's always an upside to everything. So try and remain optimistic. Sometimes it may take a long time. Sometimes it may be painful, but you got this. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I'll see you very soon with the next video. Until then, not as always, today, stay happy. Bye.